Often parents are told there is no hope, and they've been told that quite a lot. I think it comes to a surprise to them when we talk about opportunities for their child to, quote, get better. And that defines hope. I believe hope is real here, and that parents have seen that hope displayed time and time and again in the outcomes of their children. For many years, we thought that the spinal cord was just a conduit, a pipeline, and you sent nerve signals from the brain down to the spinal cord out to the muscles. That's why we all assumed after a traumatic spinal cord injury, people couldn't move their legs or their arms or had trouble breathing, and we assumed that was that. And other scientists for years have been asking the question, is that all the spinal cord does? What's the role of the spinal cord in controlling movement? Turns out, much to our surprise, that it's smart, it's intelligent, all right? And what that means for people that have spinal cord injury, and particularly in our case children, is that how can we access that spinal cord? How can we access that controller? So we call it locomotor training or activity-based therapy, and it's this idea of activity-dependent plasticity of your nervous system. We want to generate activity. So we know the brain is plastic because we can learn to play the piano or learn math or learn skills, right? What we didn't know is that the spinal cord is also plastic, all right? And so it's smart too, but it can be trained. So this locomotor training came out of that specific knowledge, that how do I access that spinal cord? So locomotor training is a particular therapy to turn on the nervous system. Everything that we do is about turning it on, coordinating it, and then using that motor output. It turns out that we can provide information or feed that spinal cord, if you will. And we feed it by giving it a good sensory experience. That sensory experience looks like standing or walking. And so a child's on the treadmill for an hour, they have a therapist, 3 techs, and they're helping facilitate, they're not a robot, they're helping facilitate their muscles, giving good sensory input, and that sensory input looks like walking. If I could remove all those people very quickly, you'd look over there and you'd say, that child's walking on the treadmill. But they're all there to help him or her do that and help him or her to stand. That sensory input's going into the spinal cord and helping generate a motor output. Now, after the hour on the treadmill, we go off the treadmill and we use that excited nervous system. We've been turning it on for an hour, and we're going to use it whether we're looking at sitting, standing, stepping, or even other devices, support systems to help them outside of here. Parents always are on Facebook or other ways they're talking to friends, talking about their child's first. It's usually the first time they said, Dada, Mama, something. It's the first step they took. They stood up. It's something the first time it happened. So some of the children we have already experienced some of those firsts for parents, and now it's the first time it happened after a spinal cord injury.
He used to tell me that his hand was broken and that he couldn't use it to do anything. And now at home, he shows me how he can open it with his brain and close it with his brain, and he's so happy. He's doing new stuff. We just got kinetic sand for his birthday, and he's scooping using both hands to play, and before it was just like it held him up, it propped him, and that was about it. Now he's so excited to use it.
This seems insignificant, but he can scratch his own nose now. I mean, think about that. Think about being trapped in a body that can't move to the point that you can't get something out of your eye or you can't scratch your nose. So he does that frequently now, and he's very proud of it. So he'll show me anytime even he feels like he's doing something new for the first time. So he can, from a functional perspective, help with those kinds of things. He can use his hands to play on the iPad. He can reach out and try to smack his brother if his brother's standing around his wheelchair and making him mad.
Shane has made huge gains. Like, Shane is getting to where, when we started out, he couldn't do hardly anything on his own. Independence is everything, and you guys have really been working to get him independent. You know, it's a process, but you know, it just simply going to the refrigerator, getting out a snack, he's working on things like that. At first that was impossible. We're working on hopefully where he can get out of a chair on his own. It's kind of difficult for him because he's about 6'2", and so chairs for normal people, you know, with a spinal cord injury are hard to get out of. For him, it's extremely hard. So we've been working on that a lot, and he's getting stronger. We're noticing that we're having to help less. So that's our goal, get him out of a chair so that he can do even more on his own.
One of my favorites, and I think it's a favorite of the children also, is kicking a ball. So that and it may be that they're still wearing a harness and we're giving them some support, or they're holding on to a walker, but they kick a ball for the first time. And it is like glee and joy in a child's eyes to kick a ball. And you can just see them because they're, hey, or they look surprised even that they did it. All right, so it's a first for them. It's a first for a parent also.
When we first got here, he was just in his chair. He didn't really care what was going on around him. He didn't care for other children. He didn't care for toys. He was just there. He would smile, you know, when something made him happy, or, you know, but he was literally just a child in a chair. And now he has a personality, and he's feisty and opinionated, and he loves other kids, and he loves his toys, and he has become Logan. He's a person now. This program has given us hope. It's hope for change, hope for progress, and hope for life. And we got it. We got our life back.